Hi, I'm Nat. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you saw my video from last week. Firstly, I'd like to say thank you to those of you who subscribed from my AuthorTube newbie tag. I'm looking forward to getting to know you better and I really appreciate your support. On to today's video, I wanted to talk about authors that inspire me, specifically those that inspired the idea for my current work in progress, the fantasy book I mentioned in my first video. Just to clarify, these are authors who inspired me to start my own book, not authors who I am trying to rip off in any way. Just wanted to make that clear out the gate. Before I delve right into these authors, I'd like to bring up a few honourable mentions. So they inspired me, but just not specifically for this project. First on the honourable mentions list is J.K. Rowling and with the Harry Potter series. Is anyone surprised? I think most people my age who also loved reading were very much enthralled by the series just like I was. The next author on my honourable mentions is the legend himself, Mr. Tolkien. Now it took me a long time to get into The Lord of the Rings, but when I was very young, probably too young, I read The Hobbit and I loved it. Every time I reread it with slightly older eyes, I think I gained more and more from it than I did the time before. As an adult, I fully understand that they are not by any means flawless works, but as a child I was completely enthralled and I just loved the magic, the worlds that they'd created, the intricacies of it, and it really helped me find that love I have for fantasy. Also on my honourable mentions list, in no particular order, are Meg Cabot with The Princess Diaries. I loved that series. I must have reread the first few books in the series dozens of times while I waited for the rest of them to come out. There was also Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events, which I think is right here. The last couple I want to mention do have some problematic content, however, I did read them through innocent eyes as a child. I did not even pick up on this content, so I'm going to include it anyway. It was Frances Hodgson Burnett's A Little Princess and The Secret Garden. There are definitely some that I'm forgetting, but those are the main books that I think of when I look back to my childhood and think of books that ignited a passion for books within me. Alrighty, so on to the main focus of the video. So the first author who inspired my current work in a pretty significant way is Christopher Paolini, who wrote the Inheritance series. The reason that this book specifically ignited such a passion for me, I think, was because when I researched the author, I researched him and discovered that he actually published Eragon at 19. He wrote it as a teenager, self-published it, and then was able to get it picked up by a traditional publisher. And that really inspired me in a way that nothing had before. This one was different because it felt attainable to me because he had written it so young, and I was probably a young teen at the time, and I just thought, wow, I could do that. He was not that different in age from I am, and he did this. Maybe I could write fantasy. Maybe it's not just something for the likes of Tolkien or J.K. Rowling. The point is, he made it feel like a goal that I could actually reach. If I wrote something, maybe I could also get it published. Maybe it was possible. So, quick story time. When I was, I want to say 17, I would have been 17. In the later years of high school, my friends and I loved the idea of this convention called Supernova, which is basically Australia's answer to Comic-Con. Although I think we have Comic-Con now, but at the time we did not have Comic-Con. It was Supernova or bust. Now, Supernova made an announcement. Christopher Paolini would be coming to do a panel and a meet and greet situation, and I lost my bananas. Lost them all. I then went to this convention. Also at this convention were some actors from certain movies. The photo sessions and signing sessions for these particular actors were the first things to go, and you had to be quick to get your tickets, otherwise you'd miss out, and I wasn't about to miss out. So I went and got those, not realizing that I would miss out on getting meet and greet for Christopher Paolini. I was so devastated. I don't remember if you had to pay for it and I couldn't afford it after the other tickets because I didn't expect them to be expensive, or if it was like a free thing but there was a certain number of them. It was some kind of combination of one of those things. So I missed out and I was very upset, but it's okay. He's doing a panel, I'll get to see him at the panel. Woe is me. I went and saw the panel, he talked about his story, I loved the panel. It instilled all kinds of new vigour for life and writing within my soul. I later on walked past his booth, saw the massive queue, and I just was very sad that I was not in the queue. I went about, did my other stuff, and then later on, much time had passed, I was walking back past his booth and there was no line. He was at his booth, just talking to the security person or whoever it was that was with him, and I was just standing there, just... And mind you, I missed out on these tickets. I was lugging all 4 Inheritance books in my bag. They are some big boys. They're like this thick. I was looking and the security guard just, I noticed, just like caught my eye. I was looking and he was looking, and then he just kind of gave me one of these where he's like, and I was like, and then Chris was also, Chris, like I know him, Mr. Paolini was like, yeah, come, it's fine. So I walked over and he was like, hi, nice to meet you. And we had a little chat and I said the words, thank you so much, you inspired me to start writing. And then he said, wow, thank you. And he looked a little shocked. To be fair, I was wearing like a $9 purple wig and I was dressed as Ramona Flowers from Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. So I see how that might have been alarming. And then I said, can I give you a hug? And he gave me a hug. He was wearing a leather jacket, poor thing, and he was like trying to lean over the table. So that's a thing that happened, and he signed all my books and I went on my merry way, and it was the best day of my life until I had my photo session with the aforementioned stars from a certain movie, which is actually an adaptation of one of the books I've already mentioned. So I might include that because it was like so embarrassing and stupid, and it was such a minuscule thing, but just this minuscule little thing made me want to die. So I'll add that in at the end of the video if you want to stick around for that. So that was the first of 2 main authors who inspired this fantasy series I'm writing. The second is Miss Gail Carson Levine, who you may know as the author of Ella Enchanted and Fairest, among many others, but those were the 2 that really sold the idea for me of what I should do. I absolutely loved those 2 books. It was the first time I'd read anything that was a retelling of a famous fairy tale. Do you see where this is going? So the first spark of an idea for my current work in progress was in fact making my own retelling of Cinderella. Now if you haven't heard the pitch or synopsis for my first book, which I'm currently writing, you can find it in my AuthorTube newbie tag, but basically it's nothing like a Cinderella retelling. However, that is where the idea started. It has changed quite a lot over the years, and the main thing that is no longer an element is the Cinderella thing. I can kind of see how it stemmed from that, like knowing the plot myself, but I don't necessarily think a reader would pick up on that without me telling you that that's how it started. So the book follows my main character Marina, who is returning a necklace to the royal palace for a reward. Originally this necklace was a diamond slipper, because diamonds are fancier than glass. I then realised that was too pointed a reference. I also tried to make it less of a Cinderella reference by changing, wait for it, by changing the shoes into a ring, like an engagement ring. Because no one's ever read a book about someone taking a ring to its rightful place, have they? Even though it has evolved so far from a retelling, it would have been nowhere without the original idea for a retelling. So for that, I have a lot to thank Gail Carson Levine for. And for the idea of even writing a fantasy, I have Christopher Paolini to thank. So thank you both. Not that I am expecting either of them will ever see this, but I'm just putting it out into the universe. Thank you. There are obviously many other books, movies, series, music even, that inspired me along the way. However, I just wanted to mention those main things that inspired the original idea, because I figured why not start at the very beginning. Alright, so I promised you a story time at the end of this video, so here it is. As I mentioned, it's Supernova in the year 2012. I am dressed as Ramona Flowers in my janky purple wig and my outfit that I put together the day before because I was disorganized but felt cute. Before I go any deeper, I'm just going to mention who the celebrities are that I was meeting this day. So the first actor was Stanislav Janevsky, who you may know as Victor Krum from Harry Potter, and along with him, Natalia Tena, who plays the wonderful Nymphadora Tonks. Also in Game of Thrones at this point, because what a legend. I'm going to put in an image of me on this day here is me with Stanislav. Note his bicep is like the size of my head. Also, I am standing on a stool in this picture. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, here is a picture of Ramona Flowers, the person I was dressed as. And here is a picture of Nymphadora Tonks. Are you seeing where this is going? This is not the main conflict of the story, however, in my head this made everything so much worse. So I'm approaching the booth to get my photo taken, and the volunteer who is attending to the curtain, letting people in and out, says, "Ramona?" And I was like, someone knew what my costume was. And this was fresh off my meeting with Christopher Paolini. I was riding a high and just thinking to myself, just introduce yourself and then they'll probably say something, it'll be fine, everything's fine. I go in there, ready to introduce myself, and Natalia Tenner, I love her, she's great, she says, "Hi, I'm Nat." In my head I'm just going fuck, 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 fuck. I just stare for a moment, looking her dead in the eyes, and then I just go, "Hi, I'm Nat." She took my line. That's just how I always introduce myself. It's how I introduced myself at the beginning of this video. It's how I introduce myself in life to people that I do not know. But she went first, and I just sent it back to her, making eye contact that I wish I had not made for quite so long, with no explanation. Here are some alternative things I could have said. "Hi, my name's also Nat. Isn't that funny?" "Hi, my name's Natalie." "Oh wow, I didn't know you went by Nat as the short form of Natalia. My name's Natalie, and I also like to be called Nat." Any of those things would have been absolutely fine, but instead I just repeat exactly what she said to me back to her like an idiot. She then just looks at me, and we're still making eye contact for an uncomfortably long time, and the guy is just there waiting to take the photo, and she just goes, "Do you want a hug?" I took the hug. I think she was probably a little bit uncomfortable, but I'm sure she's had worse fan interactions. That was definitely not the worst thing that could have happened. But as someone who gets very awkward around people I don't know, that was her. It makes me cringe thinking about it to this day. And now I've told the internet. So thanks for watching. Please comment below if you've ever made a ninny out of yourself in front of someone you admire. Or just let me know if you've ever had the opportunity to meet an author that you really love. Having said that, I do have more story times about more Harry Potter actors. Oh, and another Game of Thrones actor actually, I forgot about that one. On the set of a completely unrelated movie. That's not what this channel's about. Next week I plan to post a writing update, so consider subscribing if you'd like to see when that gets posted, and if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. That's it for today. Thank you for watching. I hope your projects are going well, and I'll see you next time. Bye!